Exclusive breastfeeding is recommended for the first 6 months of a baby's life. Exclusive, meaning no formula, no water, absolutely nothing other than the milk from the mother's breast. It is a commitment that proves beneficial in multiple ways, as PAHO's NCD focal point, Dr. Jorge Polanco, explains.
The benefits for the infant refers to whereby the infant receives, through the breast milk, all the antibodies that he or she may need to protect against bacterial infections. Children who are breastfed have a higher IQ, and that in itself means that the possibilities for that infant to become a child and go through primary school and go through high school, the likelihood of him succeeding is very high simply because of that higher IQ. We have benefits to the mother, which are very direct, also shown in multiple studies, whereby there is a significant decrease, as much as 23-24% of ovarian cancer in the women, a significant decrease of about 25% of breast cancer.
These short and long-term benefits for both the infants and their moms are why there's been an increase in exclusive breastfeeding promotion, which seems to be working. A survey conducted by UNICEF every 5 years shows an increase in exclusive breastfeeding in the last 3 consecutive surveys, from 9% to 14%, to the last results in 2015 recording 33%. Increased awareness and accessibility to the information is what led the first-time mothers Luani Caetano and Kim Vasquez to decide to pursue exclusive breastfeeding. But being first-time mothers, they both admitted to having much different expectations than what the reality would be.
It was totally unlike what I thought it would be. I thought that I would just have the baby and put the baby to my breast and it would just be like Instagram perfect. It was painful, I cried, I wanted to give up. I said I would give up, but I pushed through, and what happened is that you do eventually find your rhythm. You find a position that works, even though, like I said, my baby had a tongue tie. We were able to find a technique that was comfortable for us.
Before I had my baby, I thought it was the most natural, easiest thing possible, that it would just happen. Mm-hmm. And I thought that milk would just, this sounds so crazy, I thought the milk would just flow, like you turn on a tap and just, The first lesson was that it's not as easy as it seems, that it hurts a lot. And we don't really talk about that part. It was really difficult, but when it finally, when we just connected, then it got a bit easier. But it was never something that I would say was so easy.
One of the biggest hurdles in maintaining the exclusive nursing for 6 months is going back to work. Maternity benefits only provide for 14 weeks out of office, so working moms can anticipate spending the last few weeks or months of the exclusive breastfeeding journey back in the office.
The first thing I bought was a breast pump because I knew I'd have to go back to work. Then I spoke to my boss. I had a conversation with the office about what I would need, what my scheduling would be like, and thankfully within our environment we do have a work policy that promotes breastfeeding.
Thankfully I had a pediatrician that was very supportive, and he said to me, Kim, you need to contact your HR department and ask them what is the policy for breastfeeding mothers where you work. So that was the first thing I did, was to take his advice. I called my HR manager and I said, what's the breastfeeding policy here at Niche? And she said, well, I don't think we have one because no one has ever asked.
Luckily, her workplace obliged. They created a policy that allowed Kim to have an extended lunch hour, and she was given a clean and comfortable space at work to pump during the day.
I can only imagine how awkward it must be if your HR manager is a man. Luckily, mine at the time was a female and a mother herself, so I think I did have it a little easy. I had a relative of mine, our babies were just a few months apart, and sadly, it broke my heart because our babies were just 4 months apart, and where I was given a clean, air-conditioned, very comfortable room to go and pump my breast milk, she was told to use the bathroom. Now, you would not take your plate of food and go into the bathroom and sit on the toilet and eat, and that's really what it boils down to.
Kim and Luani's experience show how a supportive workplace increases the likelihood of successful exclusive breastfeeding. But not all working mothers have this type of support, which is why there are continued efforts in legislating the policy.
In April of 2016, our Minister of Health of Belize, as part of the Council of Ministers of Health of Central America, COMISCA, they gave a mandate to INCAP to begin working, along with PAHO, to begin working in the direction of setting up a legislative framework for the promotion and support of breastfeeding.
You would stop to think that if you could only give your employee the peace of mind or do whatever you could to support her in what she's trying to do to provide for her child, then she would perform better on the job.
In the life of your employee or your organization, it's not a lot of time that you're facilitating that space. Being able to facilitate that, your employee is happier, the child is happier, the country benefits.
Both mothers gave much credit to supportive colleagues and spouses. As Kim mentioned, she continued to breastfeed her daughter Eliana for 22 months, and Loane's son Anichi just recently turned 1 and is still receiving breast milk.